Wednesday at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. That can mean just one thing. It's time for the goRIA live stream. I'm Chuck Fala, and as I normally like to do on these Wednesday live streams, is to give you a little glimpse into what's new on www.goria.com. And I have to tell you, we've got something new and super exciting on there. We have a podcast that I had the pleasure of recording with Caleb Silver, who, of course, is the editor in chief of Investopedia and also the host of the Investopedia Express podcast. And we had a great chat. I think it was about 30, 35 minutes, maybe a bit longer than usual, but we just had so much to cover. And we started off talking about how is consumer demand for fiduciary advice kind of adding fuel, if you will, to the growth in the RIA space. So the full podcast, as I say, about 30, 35 minutes is up right now on www.goria.com. It'll be the first one right up on top. And right now I'm going to play just a kind of a quick little glimpse, sneak preview, if you will, of what we talked about. Here it is. Each month. But, 3 or 4 prospect meetings is usually what I get from referrals. And I would say a solid 1 out of 3, at least, one of the first questions is, are you a fiduciary? Does that tie in with what you're seeing on your website as well?
Yeah, I think a lot of that is a byproduct also of a little bit of financial trauma we had through a couple of financial crises and a lot of stock market manias, and then high profile money managers flying too close to the sun or crossing the line, right? And that makes a lot of headlines, and that makes people ask questions, especially, when I talk to my kids, for example, or their friends, or even kids are older than that, they have awareness of, not to equate Bernie Madoff with an RIA, but they think about things like that they know that are out there, in the ecosystem. They read about these things and they wonder if that's the same thing. Or you mentioned an auto mechanic. You take your car and you get an oil change, and all of a sudden you need 4 other things that you didn't know you needed. And you're just going to go, I don't know, he's the expert or she's the expert. And I think that the trust, the threshold of trust has gotten a little bit thinner. So people are asking a lot more questions, and we want that, right? That's a good thing.
Yes.
Are you selling me something that you get paid for, or are you selling me something because it's the best thing for our goals? And the best advisors and planners in the business are really good at explaining the difference, or they're just saying, look, I don't get paid on this thing, but given what we talked about, I believe this is the best thing for you to do. My advisor, is both AUM and fee-based for extra services. Those extra services I use heavily, right? Tax planning, insurance planning. I have a small business. I have a production company, and my production company opens new LLCs every time we do a new movie. So they are doing taxes for my small businesses. They're doing them for me. They're doing them for my wife and I, right? They're doing insurance for our family. They're looking into insurance for my parents for long-term care. They're doing everything. But every time we do something, they tell me right out of the bat, this is going to be this much money, right? We charge this much for each one of these. Each LLC for every film you do has its own, tax fee that we're going to just bill out of your account, just making sure you're aware of it. And they send me a little thing, I sign it, and off we go. I'm not getting blindsided by anything. And in fact, every time they upsell, and I put that in air quotes, they're doing it because I've expressed interest in something. And let me give you a quick example of that. And this is something I think you're going to start to see more advisors do. We have 2 teenage girls, or 18.
Okay. Well, as you can see from that little glimpse, it was a great conversation. And really, you should check out the full podcast. It's on www.goria.com. And check it out. It was really fantastic, and a real pleasure to have Caleb on the show with me. So that's it for today. Just kind of a quick little glimpse onto what's new. I'll be back next week with some more content on goRIA. Thanks for joining us. Take care.